Hey, this is Firebaugh, and I want to welcome you to another MLM training video. And guys, what an absolute honor it is not only to have you here, but also just to be a small part, if you will, of what you're doing. You know, we put these videos out for one reason and one reason only, to make sure that you understand exactly how to succeed in a home business, but more importantly, the things that basically nobody else is teaching. The title of this particular video training is How to Read Your Home Business Prospect Like a Book. How to read your home business prospect like a book. You know what your prospect's really thinking? Let's think about that. Do you know what your prospect is really thinking? See, many times in a home business presentation, there comes a point that you just have to wonder. I've been there, you've been there. You know, in your mind, you're thinking, what are they really thinking? Because many prospects do not show that much emotion. There can be a guessing game in the throes of the process of recruiting, of retailing, or even just simple conversation about the business. Because many people do not know how to read a prospect and how to respond accordingly with the words and many times resistance given to a networker when they're talking about their business. You know, many times a networker and home business professional will try and move the prospect way too soon to another exposure and totally turn the prospect off and not even know it. It will be perceived as pressure. It will be perceived as possible manipulation. And then no matter what you do, that wall is up, and it's so tough, folks, to bring it down. And at other times, you may miss what we call a forward signal, quote unquote. That means that they're ready to move forward and look at something else. And folks, if you miss it, then you may not get another chance, as it is much like a bell curve. Now, the presentation and telephone conversation is much like a bell curve. It starts at the bottom and then goes up and then hits the top, and then you are going down the back side. So you go up, you're at the peak, and now you're down the back side. That is much like how a prospect's reaction is to a networking presentation or conversation. And you need to learn to read the signs that the prospect is giving you so you know which way to go. Now, here are 5 signs that can help you know where your prospect is when you're trying to recruit or retail to them. Number 1, the sign that they keep looking away from you. They keep looking away, period. Folks, this is a sign that they're not that engaged. And you need to do a couple of things, because if they consistently are looking away, you're losing them. You know, you need to say their name. That pulls them back in. Give them something to look at. Hand them something. That pulls them back in. If on the phone and you just feel that you're losing them, ask them to give their opinion or insight on something. Because keeping their attention is critical. And you must pay attention the first 3 to 5 minutes. Because if they continue to look away or remain silent on the phone, ask them this simple question. Is this making sense to you? Because, folks, if they're looking away, then you're going to have to bring them back to you psychologically. So say their name, give them something to look at. If on the phone, ask them to give their opinion, or simply ask, is this making sense to you? Number 2, if they have their arms or hands or legs or any of them crossed, they are pretty much in a defensive posture. If this happens, give them something to hold or give them something to read and let them talk about themselves and ask a lot of questions about them. See, many times people will cross their legs and are simply getting comfortable. Yes, I understand that. But if their legs and arms are crossed, you need to get them out of that defensive posture. Get them smiling, get them laughing, and enjoying that time with you. So number 2, if they have their arms, hands, legs, or even eyes crossed, they are in a defensive posture. You got to change it. Number 3, if they start leaning back from you, they're not buying what you are saying. If they start leaning back from you, they're not buying what you're saying. You need to get them leaning towards you. How do you do that? If they start leaning back, reach out and give them something to hold or look at. Did you get that? If they start leaning back, reach out and give them something to look at. If they're still leaning back, hold something and ask them to lean forward to look at it or give to them. Maybe a brochure and say, hey, I want you to look at this with me. If they're still leaning back, do not invade their space. Key thing, folks, do not invade their space. Don't get in their face. There's some people that simply enjoy leaning back at times. You've kind of got to have an idea that either they're leaning back with their arms crossed or they're just leaning back because they want some space. But get them eventually to lean forward by lowering your voice or saying their name. Leaning towards you is a must if you're to move them towards you psychologically. Get that. Number 4, if on the phone, if their vocal energy drops, that means you are losing them. And you must get it back up. How do you do it? Ask about them. Ask about their future. Ask about their kids. Anything that they will start talking about and they value. Most prospects' energy drops because you're not talking value or honestly what is valuable to them. Keep your conversation about the value that your business brings and your products bring, and ask them about what they would like to bring more value into their life. Keep it all about the prospect, period. No exceptions, because that's what it's all about. So let's go to number 1. Here are 5 signs. Number 1, they keep looking away from you. Number 2, if they have their arms, hands, or legs crossed, they're in a defensive posture. Number 3, if they lean back from you, they're not buying what you're saying. Number 4, on the phone, if their energy drops, vocal energy drops, that means you're losing them. And number 5, if they push the brochures or CDs or products back towards you, then they are distancing themselves from your offer. It's that simple. Well, what do you do? Well, do not push it back or pressure. Talk to them about what they're looking for and then ask, can you see yourself becoming successful in a great business like this? Folks, if they answer no, then you must focus on the product. If they're not interested in the products, then simply ask them for a referral. You know something? I really appreciate your honesty, Mark. Maybe you can still help me, though. Who do you know that this would be more appropriate for? See, reading your prospect can be summed up in one simple sentence. If they're leaning towards you smiling, asking questions, and reaching for the brochures or products, they're pretty much where you need them. If they're leaning back, remaining silent, and arms crossed, odds are, well, they're not anywhere close to where you want them. If on the phone they're silent or unengaged and pretty much seem uninterested, odds are they're probably not. Ask lots of questions, though, and talk about the prospect. And continue to keep the prospect engaged in the conversation. Keep it all about them, and they will have less defenses up when you're talking about your home business and your network marketing business. Because I'm telling you what, folks, if you just understand that it's all about keeping them engaged with you, you'll never lose them. This is Doug and Jody Firebaugh with what I would consider how to read your prospect like a book. And by the way, on Monday and Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I want to invite you to the trainings we have. 10 p.m. on Monday night is traditional network marketing training. And you go to passionfire.com and you can find the webinar access there. There's no passcode needed. And also we do a simulcast and the telephone number's there as well. On Wednesday night, it's social media training. Web 2.0 for network marketing. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to passionfire.com and just simply find the portal, or you can go to mynmti.com, mynmti.com, and it'll have the access as well. And again, it'll be simulcast via conference call. These 2 trainings are free. They're here just to serve the industry and hopefully to bless you. This is Doug and Jody Firebaugh from DFTI and PassionFire.com. Thank you guys, and God bless you. See you on another video.